Okay, so one of my friends actually suggested I talk about a specific scene that happened in the most recent Justice League Snyder Cut. He was telling me that a couple of people who have talked to him about this movie still don't really understand what happened at the end. I'm gonna say this right now, spoiler warning. If you have not watched the movie, do not stick around for this video. I think this is a movie that everyone should experience on their own, and you have to see it with your own eyes. I don't want to ruin anything for you. Now, in saying all of that with spoilers, I am still not making a full-on review type video for the Justice League Snyder Cut yet. I'm probably going to be late to the party to all of the other YouTubers and people who are already talking about this film. I want to leave this movie at least a solid week before I make an in-depth video about what I loved about the movie, because just know I absolutely loved it. So even though this won't be about the entire movie, this will be an important scene we will be discussing. So it seems some people are still very confused on the Knightmare world. And the Knightmare world is the world that we see Batman in Batman vs. Superman. That is the first time it is introduced to us. That is how the Zack Snyder Cut ended. There is one scene after that that's not in the Knightmare world, but the Knightmare world is second to last of scenes. Let's quickly take it back to Batman vs. Superman when we first see Batman in this post-apocalyptic world. I understand the confusion in a lot of ways, because if you aren't an avid comic book reader, if you don't have excessive knowledge of the literature of DC Comics and their characters, the average viewer, I could understand, would look at that scene and say, what the hell is going on? I mean, for me, my knowledge of DC is extended. So right when I saw that scene, I knew exactly what was going on. Of course, there were obviously some detail of like, how did this happen? Who did this? Even though I somewhat already knew Darkseid was involved. Still, I understood the scene as a whole. So you see Batman, he's got an assault rifle strapped around him. He's got this brown trench coat. You see him going to get kryptonite. He has a small band of survivors who are warriors on his side against the threat that clearly dawned on Earth. And he's looking for kryptonite because Superman is obviously a villain in this world. And when he goes into the truck to grab the kryptonite, they tricked him. It's not kryptonite, it's just this green light inside of a box. You then find out that all the men who were there to deliver the kryptonite to Batman are actually undercover soldiers who are working for Superman. They had Superman's S on their shoulders. So all of a sudden, this massive fight breaks out. Batman's men against Superman's men are going at it. Batman whips out this M911 pistol and starts gunning down Superman's soldiers. And there is this awesome one-shot scene of him going wild on these guys. And I just made a recent video about me defending Batman killing in Batman Superman, but in this post-apocalyptic world, Batman is killing. It's no second thought. It's not like, okay, I can incapacitate you. It's like, no, I'm gonna kill you. I guess in a post-apocalyptic world such as this, yeah, things are gonna change. So Batman loses all of his men, essentially, from what we see from the scene, and then Superman's men and those creatures that fly in the sky, if you don't know, they're called parademons. They are soldiers of Darkseid. A parademon lands behind Batman as Superman's soldiers are locking up Batman, and the parademon punches Batman straight in the back of the head, and the scene goes to black. Then the next scene, you see Superman land down, and he's walking towards Bruce Wayne as he is mowing down the guys next to him with his heat ray vision. He takes off Batman's mask, and he says, "She was my world, and you took her from me," and he punches a hole straight through Batman's chest. Next thing you know, Batman wakes up from this dream he apparently thinks he had, but there is a futuristic Flash right in front of him who just came from the future, and he's warning him that Lois is the key. You were always right about him being Superman. You You need to find us, band us together so we can stop this from happening. What is happening here is that was not a dream at all. He actually had a premonition from another world, and it's not even just another world, it is his world. It's the future of the world he's currently living in Justice League. And like I said, I don't want to talk too much spoilers. I still want people to have the chance to watch the Snyder Cut, but it really does explain how Superman becomes that evil Superman and starts to work for Darkseid. These are the spoilers. I have no choice but to get into. When the League has decided to revive Superman, to bring him back from the dead, there is a part where Cyborg is holding on to the Mother Box and he gets a glimpse into the future. He sees Wonder Woman dead. He sees the Amazonians now under the rule of Darkseid. Darkseid stab Aquaman with the trident, and you get that cool scene of his Omega beams. You also see a scene of Superman with a corpse in his hand that has been clearly fried, and he is sitting there crying, and it's obviously Lois Lane. Lois Lane was killed by Darkseid, and then you see Darkseid's hand grab Superman's shoulder to basically comfort him. He is now going to be serving the will of Darkseid. Now, there are so many questions on how did Lois Lane die? How could Superman get so low in his life that he would serve Darkseid? Then the Earth would become this molten hot lava planet with just dust and desert everywhere. Justice League 2 and 3 were apparently leaked, and inside of the leaks, which I have read, it was explained that Batman was supposed to get hit by the Omega beams, and Batman jumps out of the way, and the Omega beams hit Lois Lane, and it kills Lois Lane. But to make matters worse, Lois Lane was pregnant, and it wasn't Superman's kid, it was Batman's kid, and they had a secret relationship together while Superman was dead. The main point is that Lois Lane dies, which sends Superman over the edge. And also, just to add on top of that, when you watch this Snyder Cut, just know if you're someone like me who does not like that idea, and I don't like that idea, they seem to write that completely out. So there is no connection to Bruce Wayne and Lois Lane. There is only Lois Lane and Superman. That whole story of them getting together and having a kid, I am very glad they decided to write that out. So back to the Knightmare scene, Flash was right. Lois is the key. Lois dies, and that is what sends Superman to the dark side. So what we see at the end of the movie is another Knightmare scene. We get a glimpse of who is still alive. So there's Batman, there's Deathstroke, there's Mara, which if you don't know, it's Aquaman's girlfriend. You got Cyborg, you got Flash, and they all look different. They're all a little bit older. Their armor is different. They've clearly been in hiding and on the run for a long time. So there's two things I think a lot of people are getting confused on, and it's not just the Knightmare world itself. It was what is the deal with the Batman and Joker discussion. Clearly, Joker survives this world. He is in hiding and on the run with the rest of them. They have this huge discussion about life and death and how Batman is basically the one to blame for Lois's death. Joker is egging him on. He's talking about how you don't have the balls to die yourself, so you have other people die for you. That's who you are, not just as Batman, but as a man. You don't have the courage and the bravery to sacrifice yourself for the greater good. Topic of discussion I think a lot of people had when Batman vs Superman came out and you saw the Robin suit with Joker's writing on it, ha ha ha, joke's on you. Yes, he makes it ever so clear that he did kill Robin. Starting at the beginning of the conversation when Mara says to Batman, "Who have you ever loved?" and Joker essentially says, "Oh, don't get it twisted. Batman has loved, and he knows what it's like to lose. He knows what it's like to lose like a father, like a mother, like an adopted son." Now Joker knows in this time of the world who Batman is. Why would Batman need to hide his identity anymore? He obviously knows he's Bruce Wayne, so he could connect the dots. Ah, he's lost his father. He's lost his mother. I killed his adopted son. Joker offers Batman a Joker card. He says it's a truce. So as long as you have this card, there is a truce between me and you. But tear up that card at any moment or lose it or whatever. In any way, we can discuss why you sent a boy to do a man's job. And that is essentially alluding to the fact that one of these days, it's going to come to an end. They will fight one another and one of them will kill each other. And then Batman pisses off Joker by saying to him, when I held Harley Quinn as she was dying in my arms, she wanted me to promise her that when I killed you, and make no mistake, I will kill you, I will make it last. Then Joker freezes up and he starts shaking, and then he looks at Bruce and says, oh, you got me good. Like, you got me. Because Joker doesn't want to admit that even though it's twisted, even though it's a twisted sense of love, because Joker and everything he does is twisted, but even though it's wrong and it's not true love from the eyes of normal people like us, Joker doesn't want to hear something like that, nor believe the fact that the one person he loves more than anything would wish that upon him. So now it makes a little more sense when it comes to the detail of the scene too, because if you watch Batman vs Superman, there's that part where Batman's got the assault rifle in his hands and he's walking up to the truck that was supposed to have the kryptonite. You actually see Joker's card slipped alongside the end of the gun, which means they still have a truce ongoing. Then right at the end of the scene, when Batman walks away from Joker and Joker's doing his weird crackling laugh in the background, all of a sudden Superman shows up, and as he shows up, Joker is just looking at him and laughing. That is how crazy the Joker is. He doesn't even care that this is an evil Superman. He is still just sitting there looking at evil Superman and laughing. So everyone looks at Superman and they all get prepared to battle. Mara readies the trident, Cyborg brings up his Gatling gun, Flash's face shield goes down, and Bruce just looks over at Superman, and Superman's eyes are glowing an evil red, and that is where the scene ends. So even though this video is going to end up being like 10 minutes or something, the simple answer is the Knightmare scenes of what we saw in Batman vs Superman and at the end of the Snyder Cut is signifying what the world is going to turn to in the future when Superman loses Lois Lane and falls to Darkseid's anti-life equation and becomes Darkseid's loyal servant. I really hope that cleared up what the Knightmare world is for anyone who hasn't really understood what it is and maybe still has questions about it. There does seem to be a lot of back and forth on whether or not we are going to see future Snyderverse movies. I really hope we do. At the end of the day, they told us the Snyder Cut was never going to come out, but look what happened, we got the Snyder Cut. And with future Justice League movies from Zack Snyder, we will get more explanation on what the Knightmare world is. I'm pretty sure one full Justice League movie was actually supposed to heavily be set in the Knightmare world. You never know, we might still get it one day, and hopefully it's one day soon. Alright, well, if anyone has any more questions about the Knightmare world scene, make sure to comment in the comments section down below and I'll make sure to answer your questions. And also too, make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date with my content. Alright, until next time.
We're almost there. Still think it was a good idea bringing him along? What do you think? He's found us.